So here we go. Hello, friends. Once again, it's time for a trucker story. A story passed on from one trucker to another. A story most often embellished as the story is passed down through time. If you have a trucker story you'd like to share, feel free to send it to us. Our email address is fbtv@freightbrokertv.com. Today's trucker story takes us back to my very first days in the transportation industry working as a chase driver. What's a chase driver, you may be asking? Well, a chase driver is one who drives the van that picks up the drivers of a vehicle relocation company and drives them to their next job. My entry into the trucking industry, hoping that this would be my door to getting my CDL, but that wasn't to be. That's a story for a different day. Today is for the trucker story I was told by my boss while we were in Portland, Maine. This trucker story begins when my boss was a driver hauling rice in a hopper bottom out of Stuttgart, Arkansas. He in his truck, his partner in another. These trucks were both cab overs, as this will prove to be an important part of this trucker story. They had been running together and running hard for several days. One night, my boss needed fuel. They both needed sleep. Pulled into a truck stop. My boss pulled to the fuel island, his partner to the parking area to get an hour or two of shut-eye before continuing on their trip. The fuel pumped and paid for, my boss pulls away from the fuel island and begins looking for his partner that has parked in the truck parking area of the truck stop. Slowly moving up and down the rows of these parked trucks, searching for his partner, he sees a parked truck with headlights still on, parked at the end of the row. As he moves closer, he sees that it is indeed his partner, too tired to turn off his headlights or even move to the sleeper. He had crossed his arms on the steering wheel, laid his head on those arms, and fell into a deep, hard sleep. A sleep that only a truck driver can appreciate. My boss said that his first thought was to find a place to park so he himself could get some much-needed sleep. But first, perhaps due to the lack of sleep, or because my boss had a demon, or just maybe he had a warped sense of humor, an idea popped into his head. With this idea hatched, he took a lap around the truck parking in order to position his truck so that he could be nose to nose with his partners. He turned off his headlights and quietly moved his truck directly in front of his partner's nose to nose, keeping in mind that both of these trucks are cab overs. When in position, he turned on his headlights, only bright would do in this situation, and laid down on his air horn. His partner, asleep on his steering wheel, awoke in an almost immediate panic, his mind quickly racing to not only wake up, but also to process the information that his brain was receiving visually as well as audibly. In a split second, his mind was able to formulate that he had fallen asleep at the wheel and was now going to be in a head-on collision with another big truck. Death was imminent. The death look, as my boss described, was what he saw as his partner awoke from his sleep to see another truck directly in front of his. He said that his partner immediately began to stand. Using the steering wheel for leverage, he literally stood on the brakes in hopes of stopping the non-moving truck before the crash that wasn't to be could happen. When all was said and done, my boss said that his partner was furious and took him several days to get over the incident and forgive. As for that night in the truck stop, my boss did say that his partner did need to take a shower before they could get back on the road. Although this was nearly 20 years later, when my boss told me this story, he told it to me with the enthusiasm like it had happened just yesterday. This, my friends, a true trucker story.
I don't know. Sounds like a trucker story to me.